Thank you so much, Fitz. And Colin, asking you to unmute. All right.
Hey guys, I'm Colin. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for letting me speak. Never done a Zoom speaker meeting before, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I did want to start off by giving a little backstory. I was born in Georgia, raised in Georgia. When I was young, I was like the pretty run of the mill, like white picket fence family. We had a lot of, I had a lot of friends growing up. We had a lot of neighbors that I was friends with. As I like got older, as everyone does, I just eventually kind of, I was probably like, I remember being 5 years old and just being so like separated from everyone else. I started being kind of a weird kid, which is harder to admit for me, that I didn't feel very normal when I was a kid, and I didn't feel very like a part of, me and my neighbors were always hanging out, but I was always away from them. I don't know. It's the older I got to, I just kind of started straying away from more and more society. I started like isolating myself in my room, and I'm going to try to keep all this somewhat shorter. But yeah, I don't know. I just was. I remember being like 10 years old and having like the first real thing happening to me that kind of started affecting me was my mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She got she went through chemo and all that, and my dad was he was always a heavy drinker when I was a kid. And he worked full time, of course, and he had to support my family, and my family consisted of my mom, my dad, and I have two younger brothers who are twins. They're 4 years younger than me. So, when I was 10, my brothers they were like 6 years old. So my dad being working full time, my mom, who is in and out of the hospital, has cancer. It was really hard on our family, and being so young, I couldn't really help that much at all. So I just kind of kept doing my isolating thing, and my mom got sicker, and my dad wasn't around when I was staying with our neighbors, and I was staying with my grandparents. I was staying with my friends. My brothers were in like daycare, and it was really sad. I didn't see my mom much. I didn't see my dad much. I didn't really know what my dad was doing. I didn't really know where my mom was, and we just probably like a year later, after that, I remember it was right after my birthday. I went home, and my mom was there, and my grandparents were there, and my dad was there, and they seemed very happy. Which was weird because I hadn't seen our whole family in like one room in a year since my mom had cancer, and they were like, my mom's cancer free, right? Which was, I didn't really understand it still as much as I do now. And I also understand why what happened to me when I was younger happened to me, because of the situation. My dad very quickly after that started working a lot more. they're business owners. They own their own business, and they are always at work. And they're in the restaurant industry and wedding industry. So they're out there working till 4 in the morning. Going to work at 9. So my mom started getting better, and nothing really changed though. I was still staying with my friends and family, and I was still, you know, not really around my family that much. And finally, my mom kind of stepped away from work and decided to take care of me and my brothers more, when she got more healthy and in better shape. Um, so I started hanging out with my mom a lot, and I became very close with my mom. And I became very distant from my dad. And I didn't see my dad for weeks at a time at this point, and I didn't really understand why. Um, my family was just in and out. My dad was in and out. I was very confused about it, and I would ask about it, and I'd be like, "Where is dad?" And my mom would just kind of blow it off and tell me not to worry about it. Um, I don't know, but 6 months goes by this, and um, my mom got a call in. It was like, "Dad's been in a car wreck," and we went to the hospital, and he had gotten a DUI. He flipped his car over a barrier and landed on its top. Um, and he was pretty fucked up too. He messed him up pretty good. And that was kind of the point where I was still so young that I didn't understand what was happening, but I was still very I don't know, I was just beyond, like, knowing what to do. I there on I you know my dad went to jail. My dad got out of jail after a little, I think it was just a few days. And my mom kicked him out of the house. He Which was a very interesting thing because they worked together. So my mom didn't go to work, and my mom wasn't going to work. My dad was still paying for, like, the house. I don't really know where he was staying. I know he was sleeping at work a lot of the times, or he was just I still don't know. But over time, my dad kind of weaseled his way back in his house, and, like, the reoccurring thing with my dad, and he's actually a big part of my story, and a lot of the ways have felt about the world in the past is because of my dad. And he's kind of like a cockroach. He kind of, like, just weasels his way back in, and just somehow ends up back in the picture. I got, I think, another probably a year goes by. I'm 12, 13 years old. I'm, I think, like, eighth grade. And it was the summer before eighth grade. I remember I was at my friend's lake house. Um, everything was kind of normal before that. I was at my friend's lake house, just going up there to have fun. And long story short, there was alcohol in the fridge downstairs where we were staying, and we were like, "Huh, let's, like, drink it." And we drank a bit. Didn't really like it that much, but we were like, we're still gonna do it. And the next night after, we drank more of it, and that's kind of where it started for me. And I didn't black out. I didn't, um, you know, go do some crazy shit that, like, just kind of scarred me from it. It just was super, like, I was just chilling on the couch downstairs, and that was kind of like, oh, this is cool. I felt cool, and I felt like my friend was laughing and he thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And next morning, friend's mom catches us and we go back home. They tell my parents, and my parents surprisingly didn't care at all. So at the time, also, we were living in this house. And so upstairs, we lived and we were renting out the basement, but it was completely closed off. It was kind of like a duplex stacked on top of each other. And um, the people that were renting out the basement were just mom and this and her son. And everyone knows that, her son sells all these, like, I want to stay away from talking about drugs and stay more on alcohol, but he would sell a lot of drugs and alcohol to younger kids. And my parents knew that, everyone knew that. And the older I was in school at this point, and I was outside in our backyard and he was outside smoking some stuff, and he was drinking, and he had like this huge like 40 like just sitting there, like just sitting in his recliner like outside. And I went up to him and I asked him for some, and he of course gave me some, and I didn't know what to do with any of it. And I just would, went inside, pull up my laptop. I looked up on YouTube what to do, and I went from there. And there was a point right there where I was like, this is sick. My parents don't care that I drink. My parents are like enabling me my parents are cool with me doing all this. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I did do it. About out of time. But fast forward more, I got caught many times, went to plenty of rehabs and institutions, and when I got sent out to the woods, and finally I found this place that worked. And then I got involved with this place, and there was a bunch of young people, and I got sober in it. I got pretty far down the hole at this point in like a few years. It was really just sad and depressing, and these like young people in AA and really just kind of brought me out of it. And I left this treatment facility, and I started going to meetings like full time all the time, and I didn't really have this rehab or whatever to go to. And I was looking for kind of a place to really be of service, and I found a new sponsor, and he recommended GCYPAA. He was like, hey, we're starting to do this thing this year. He was like, you should come to this meeting tonight. And I was like, okay, cool. I was just looking for places to be of service, and I walked in this meeting in some girl's basement, and all right, they're like, what do you want to do? And I volunteered, picked up a service position, and that was pretty cool. I was like getting really involved with young people, started meeting a lot of young people, and I started able to sponsor a lot more young people. And I don't know, I was going through a really rough time right there after leaving a treatment center and going, having to make new friends and all that. And that really helped me out a lot and like saved me. Because I didn't expect to like make it out of that point. So GCYPAA for me has been really cool. And we get to hold the conference this year, and that's in December. And if anyone can make it, y'all should totally come. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're really excited to do it. This was a lot shorter than I thought it went by, a lot faster, but I did want to thank y'all for letting me come and talk about a little bit of my story. And thank you. That's all I got.